Filme Shilmy videos, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Pavail, thank you so much for joining me for today's conversation. I hope you're keeping well and lockdown is going okay for you.
Yeah, I have my good days and my bad days, but mostly I'm doing okay. Thank you. How's it going with you?
Yeah, it's going good, not too bad. It's been really busy. Surprisingly, I wasn't expecting to be this busy actually during lockdown, but I guess fate, destiny, whatever, life has its own plans, and here
I'm
we are.
really jealous of people who are very busy because I'm not. I'm only busy in my house chores and stuff. I have some scripts to read, and that's
Mhm.
it. And I'm really, really jealous when everybody tells me I'm very busy. I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm painting and I'm coming up with music. I'm writing poetry, and I feel useless, completely useless when
No,
it
but
comes
this
to
is
these things.
it. You've got to use. I guess you can use this time as a way to introspect and, of course, explore your creativity, especially because you are in the performing arts. So I guess it's a blessing as well. That is the silver lining of this lockdown. But I think speaking more about yourself, Pavel, I think huge congratulations on Thappad. It is
Thank
a
you.
remarkable film. I think it's got widespread critical acclaim from far and wide, and now that's on Amazon Prime. A lot of people have loved it. But obviously the film itself questions the so-called implicit rules of marriage. I mean, given the
Mhm.
fact that such norms have been going on for quite some time now, why has it taken this long for a film like Topper to finally come to the forefront?
I don't know why these kind of films were made before, but these they were called the feminist films or the female oriented films, so to say. And this film is a little different in the term because it's not only catering to women, right? It's not showing. uh I mean, that's what I thought. Vikram is not a bad guy after all. I mean, he
Mm,
was just raised wrong.
mm,
He's kind of a victim of his own upbringing, of the people around him, because his mother was exactly like him. His mother-in-law was exactly like him. They didn't know any better. He didn't know any better, and
mm.
he was just stuck in this world where this is what he was taught, and he is not willing to open his eyes to a new world or a new beginning, or how he actually takes relationships for granted. And it's not just that he takes his relationship with his wife for granted. He kind of takes his relationship with everyone for granted, be it his boss, be it his colleagues, be it the way a person on the road. It's only about him, and it's his selfishness and everything. The world actually, he thinks the world actually goes around him,
Mm,
right? So
right.
I think that was the thing. But then when later he realized his mistake, and I think that was done beautifully, because we didn't want to send in a message after the film saying men will be men and men can't change.
Yeah.
uh, that would have been completely antagonizing the guy, and which we didn't want to. We didn't want a person like you or me or anyone else going to the theater and not relating with this boy, because they should definitely see themselves in him,
Mm.
and realize that on a day-to-day basis, no matter how feminist or how progressive we think we are, there is this this atom of patriarchy that is left in all of us, and not just in men but women also.
Yes, no, definitely, and I think that's a very fantastic view on the overall objective of the film and why it's taken
Hmm.
this long to kind of come to the forefront. And I'm really glad you mentioned actually that your character wasn't a bad guy, so to speak, in a sense, like he wasn't
Yeah.
an evil or malicious guy, like have we seen in previous films which are about domestic violence and about misogyny. Um,
Hmm.
so how did you actually prepare for the role? Because obviously it's a very ordinary character, just like you and I. So how did you kind of
Yeah.
prepare for it?
I don't know. I was just thrown into it. Actually, I didn't get much time to prepare because I came in at the last minute, and
Oh,
I was actually shooting in London for another project.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
I was, yeah. And then this I had tested for this film just 2 days before I left for London. And
Mm.
then I on the way I kind of got a call saying that Anubhav sir has liked your test and stuff, and I was already unavailable at that moment of time. So I I didn't even actually speak to him over the phone. He just sent me the script. I read it. I
Wow.
really liked it. I actually loved it. And then he and I just spoke on a text message once, and I straight met him on set. And it was a little difficult for me to get into the character in a way because I hadn't read the script over and over again for months and months.
Mm.
Sorry, is my cat in the background?
That's really
Yeah,
cute.
yeah. So all of that happened, and then also I come. My family is kind of it's kind of a matriarchal family, you know.
Yeah.
All it's so I don't relate to so many things that I do or say in the film. So and I you know I've heard people talk like this, and I've heard you know this happens in a lot of families, more than you know families I can actually think of, but I had never seen it happening. So for
Mm.
me, it was a little new space, and I spoke to sir about it, and I said, "Sir, I haven't prepared for this part at all." And he gave me a line. He said, "Pavail, every man has prepared for this part all their lives. You just need to look into it." And then I kind of realized, you know, it's not just about uh, the big thing that I slap her or something like that. These are
No.
little small
Mm.
things when us maybe just boys are hanging out and we say something as a joke, which you know, which is
The
kind of
sexist.
stereotypical.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and we don't even realize it. You know, this women are bad drivers or something like that.
Yeah.
We tend to throw it away, and we don't even realize that it might hurt someone, or it actually kind of is very regressive. But we, you know, we don't realize such things that we're doing it. It's not
Mm.
like we are trying to hurt anyone, but we kind of it's kind of programmed into our brains, I think. So
Yes.
that programming needs to go.
Exactly. No, like you mentioned, it's a very deep-rooted issue. It's not just
Yeah,
something like, for example, even making a joke like, "Oh, go back to the kitchen," for example.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
it's a very sexist and a very regressive comment, which has been going on for so many years, and I feel it's always been brushed under the carpet as well, to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, I actually spoke with Taapsee as well recently, post the
Mm-hmm.
film. And, she did mention that, we can't necessarily change society through films. I mean, we can start conversations, from them. And, there's always this undue pressure of films trying to change the dynamics of our world and the way we operate and the way we think. But according to
Mm-hmm.
you, what conversations and what dialogues have begun after Thappad? And have these dialogues per se been of the expect or met the expectations of the producers?
I think for me, it has surpassed my expectations, to be honest, because you know this kind of an issue is kind of we always brush it under the rug, you know, because this is something people are embarrassed about. It happens in every family, but people are embarrassed to talk about it. They
Indeed.
always talk about, I've heard it in my neighbor's house, or I've seen it in my neighbor's house, or my relative's house that I don't like, but it never happens in my house. Nobody
Mm,
actually wants to talk about it. And even if it's happening at your neighbor's house, it's not you who's going to stop it, because you would never raise a voice.
mm,
So basically, the emails and the messages that I got from it was weird that I got so many messages from men that it kind of opened their eyes, and which is kind of the motive of the film. And it was beautiful to actually read all those messages and those emails. Uh, uh, Women, of course, I thought will message, but coming from men and them crying in the film and realizing, and maybe someday I'll share with you those messages where men actually have messaged me saying that I am Vikram and you just opened my eyes today. And
no,
some,
yeah,
you know, and for those conversations to happen, I think that's a big win for the film and for the society, which is kind of, I think, heading towards a better direction.
hmm, right. No, I think it
At
is.
least we're talking about it.
Yes, exactly. That like exactly what Tapsi mentioned. It's the fact that a
Yeah.
conversation, it's kind of brought it out there. And I think that's
Yeah.
exactly what was the need of the hour, in particular.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I mentioned as well, misogyny and patriarchy is a very deep-rooted issue within our world, and the way we operate as humans. So obviously, I believe it's very difficult to completely omit it. But what do you think we can do collaboratively to, I guess, minimize it within society?
That's a very very difficult question. I wouldn't know. Uh, I mean, I think I was lucky to be raised the way I was raised. Uh, I think what I can contribute is to be, just people around me, and how I was treated and how I was raised. I think I would impart the same values to probably my kids in the future, or people around me. I think that's the I mean,
Yeah,
it's a very big question to answer, but
yeah,
that's something I can actually do, and I won't go out on the limb and say, I'm going to change the world and I'm going to do
no,
this, I'm going to do that. But this is something I can do. I think that's going to make a lot of difference. Uh,
sure.
yeah, I think so.
No, absolutely. I think that's a very good point as well. But I was also going to add as well, maybe because of the fact that cinema is a widely consumed medium, perhaps if
Hmm.
we show more stories like Thappad and raise more societal topics within cinema and obviously other visual mediums, perhaps that could also lead to a change of some sort as well, right?
I mean, we should try to, but I
Yeah.
don't think that should be that cannot be an approach to cinema,
Yeah.
because cinema has to be a lot of things, and it should be a lot of things. So a film like this, when it comes out, it actually comes from, it wasn't. Uh, how do I put it? It wasn't so planned. This film, it really came from the heart. It came from Taapsee's heart. It came from Anubhav sir's heart and Munmai's heart. So this film
Mm.
was very. When we were making the film, also it was quite a. To be honest, sorry, I'll just take my. Sorry. So it it actually came from the heart, and it wasn't trying to be let's do it this way so we'll make the
Yeah.
audience cry, or let's do it that way. So
Yeah.
those characters Anubhav sir has actually met in his life, all the characters. He has spoken to me widely about them. Same Taapsee. So I think this film also came from a right place.
Right.
uh,
Mm.
yes, picking film, doing films on, so making films on social issues, thing, I don't mind that, but
Mm.
that just from one angle. I think it has to come of, you know uh, I don't like
Yeah.
Scorsese always makes gangster films, right?
Right. Exactly.
I
So
mean, that's,
yeah.
and we love it,
So it has to
and it
come from the
comes
right
from
place.
within him, and he likes to do it. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. It
So it
it
has.
cannot be just
Mm,
an opportunity because, okay, Thappad did well, so let's make another social
yes.
issue film.
Yes.
It cannot be like that.
I think that's a very, very, very spot on perspective as well. Because right now, as we see, I think especially in the industry, I feel like it's become a bit of a formula now. जो एक फिल्म अच्छी तरह से करती
Yeah.
है वो दूसरे फिल्मों मतलब वही अप्रोच को अपना लेती है और फिर पैसा कमा लेती है. And I think that's what I think needs to change a little bit as well. I think that's a really good uh, point that you've made there. But also speaking about the film as well, I know you mentioned that you've been reading a lot of scripts and stuff. But what other doors have opened for you post the film? Do you feel like an added sense of responsibility now as an actor as well?
Absolutely. Now, I now choosing what I need to do next is far more important than my first break or something like that. Because now there is, and also because Taapsee actually told me once, after we saw Thappad, and she called me and said, this film has put a lot of pressure on you. I said, why is that? She said, because this film might be one of the best films uh, that we might have worked on, and that is going to add a lot of pressure on you for your next one, because people are going to expect a lot.
Mm,
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure. New doors have definitely opened. I'm getting a lot of, I'm speaking to a lot of good directors and producers, and they want to collaborate and they want me to read their scripts, which is damn nice.
mm,
But I'm stuck inside a closed door right now in lockdown.
mm.
So that also happened, which was quite unfortunate for everyone. But yeah, I think, but I'm genuinely not. going crazy over, okay, I've got this thing now, so let's sign everything, let's do this. I want to do everything. I want to take my time. I want to figure what I want to do. I have something that I'm doing next, which I think after the lockdown we'll announce. But apart from that, I'm actually taking my time as to what I really want to do. And, I'm not, because I have my next one, so I'm just not on a signing spree for sure.
So I presume that you can't speak about that project yet, but is it an actual
Not yet.
film? So is it like a feature film or is it a web show?
No, it's a feature film.
It's a feature film. Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
really exciting. I can't wait for that. But I think it's not even about you, Pavail, being the new kid on the block, because you're technically not. I mean, you've been in this industry for quite some time now. You know, you've worked.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done a few roles here and there, but obviously, Thappad was perhaps your biggest role as the main lead. How difficult has it been for you to get to this stage you're currently at?
Mm. I mean, to be honest, it's taken. Sometimes you feel it. Some days you feel it's taken a toll on you. You're very, very depressed. It almost feels like a breakup sometimes, or it just it's sometimes the worst feeling in the world. But then you gotta wake up the next morning and get back to it, because there's
Mhm.
no other way. Rejection is kind of part and parcel of what an actor's life is. Like Johnny Drama said in Entourage, I mean, I always like to quote him: "An actor's life is just waiting for the phone to ring," and that kind of was for the first 10 years, 12 years of my life here. And then, I mean, it, I never stopped working though. But I never worked on something that I didn't like to do. It wasn't ever about, I'm going to do this just for the money. I never did that, at least. Obviously, I had to do something, to keep my bills afloat and stuff like that. But it wasn't to earn a lot of money of doing something that I don't like.
Right.
Uh,
Okay.
so and that kept me going, because I it sounds very pseudo to talk about it, but I think I had a lot of patience and belief, and also I think I had the belief of my family and my friends, which kind of got me here. So I mean, yes, I was strong enough, but I think people around me were stronger to make me stronger. So I think it wouldn't have been possible if these people or my family weren't there. So that was also quite important for me in my life. I know I'm lucky. A lot of people don't get that, but I got that. So I'm thankful. So yeah, the journey's been tough, but I think that actually makes a story. Because अगर मैं 18 साल का था और मैं whistling boot से निकलता और फिर मेरे को अगले दिन फिल्म मिल जाती, that wouldn't call for a story, and I wouldn't have respected that journey or that film enough. I think I respect what I do now much more, because it was harder to get.
Yeah, that's actually, I think that's a very natural thing in life as well. Sometimes we value things more that we've kind of struggled to get, and rather than when we get it, we kind of take things for granted, I think, as humans. But I think so I believe you don't actually hail from a filmy family. You're not actually from your family is not really rooted in the film industry at all, is it?
I mean, they are, but not in the feature film industry. My dad used to be a documentary filmmaker, and they have their own little studio in Delhi, back in Delhi. My mom's a radio producer, so but never into films or let's say they weren't ever into fictional content. So and their work is back in Delhi.
Okay.
So I was exposed to a lot of theater for sure because of my dad and my mom, because my dad was from theater. So I was watching theater since, I don't know, I was 6 years old, 7 years old. So my only, the good thing in my family was that I was exposed to a lot of art and a lot of culture in terms of, theater and workshops. And I was, every summer vacation, I was thrown into extracurricular activities, be it theater, be it dance, be it anything for that matter. So yeah, but I come from a family of artists, so I think that kind of helped.
So how, I mean, you said that kind of helped. So what aspects of that really helped you? I mean, was it the basic craft, or was it maybe your patience and
I
uh,
think it was their patience as well, because they understood what being an artist means. They understood the struggle there, and it wasn't a thing where, okay, we are giving you 2 years. If you don't become an actor, come back. That was never the deal.
mm,
Because I told them my plan A is to be an actor and my plan B is to follow plan A, and there's nothing plan. I don't have another plan, so that's it. I have to make it because I don't have any other plan. And
mm,
they were pretty okay with it, and they actually supported me. There were days when I was felt bad, and I felt that I might not make it, but they were the ones who said, no, no, we believe in you, you're going to do it.
mm,
So I think that kind of really mattered. And also I was exposed to theater from the early on, so that was that kind of sparked the fire within of being
mm,
on stage. And that wo ek hota hai stage pe, when the first time I went on stage, and when it was a very very bad play, I remember, and but people clapped for you in the end. And
mm,
that was I mean, it was the best feeling in the world, I
yeah.
think. So I think that kind of you just get hungry for those applause. So I think that kind of lit a fire, and I just wanted to do it every year. And
Mm,
uh, used to wait for summer vacations to start so I can go back to workshops, and by the end of it do a play, so that I can go back on stage and wait
mm.
for people to clap for me.
Sure, no, yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it gives you a big adrenaline rush when you're
Yeah,
on
it's a
stage.
high.
And because obviously
It's a
it's
big high.
one take only, so even if you do goof up, you cannot go for take two. You have to kind of just
Absolutely not.
improvise your way through. And I
Yeah.
completely resonate with that sentiment. But having done a film like Thappad, which is obviously, I think it will be regarded as an iconic film because of what it, what it, what it basically representing and the way it's done very well with the audiences and of course the critics as well. But what do you think is a role that will really challenge you as an actor, that will really take a lot out of you?
I'm a fan of Ranbir's work, and I loved Rockstar, and I think it was one of the most. Uh,
Yeah.
it was a challenging role for him to play, and I think he did it so beautifully. And you, I always tell my friends ki when you watch a movie, na, you feel like, "Arey yaar, I could have done this, and I could have done this maybe a little better, or I could have played it this way." When I was watching Rockstar, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't do this. I can't do this. I just can't. I'm not ready. I don't think I have the experience in life to pull
Yeah.
off a character like this." So I think that was one part which I really, really liked. And I think he did wonders in that
Hmm.
film.
Definitely. I think that was it was a very layered character, It wasn't very one dimensional.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes you get
Absolutely.
characters which are very like predictable in a way, are very kind of, you can kind of tell what's going on. But with the Jonathan Jacker, I think it was a complete icebreaker, I think, for him also. But
Absolutely.
I think I was looking at your filmography, Pavail, and I was really impressed actually. And it kind of made me realize, I was like, oh my god, because I saw you in Thappad, and I was like, I'm sure I've seen this guy before. And then I saw your filmography when you were preparing for this conversation, and I was like, oh my god, he was also in Ghost Stories as well as Made in Heaven. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's wonderful to kind of see you kind of featuring on some high-profile OTT platforms, such as the ones that I've mentioned. So how
Uh-huh.
beneficial has it been, the digital platforms in particular, for fresh talent like yourselves who are sort of getting a platform to display the talent?
I don't know about the OTT thing, to be honest, because my OTT stint wasn't as big as other people's.
Right.
But what happened was that I worked with really really good people,
Mm,
be it Zoya, be it Anurag. So these people I was blessed to be working with, firstly, and secondly, I love their work. I love them as people, and they were. I can't believe why they are so nice to me. They're very very nice to me. Um, they're lovely, and I think Anurag sir knew me much before, because I had done this TV
Good.
series called Yudh with
Yeah.
Mr. Bachchan, and he was the creative director on that. So I think, I mean, he knew me from there, and then he saw me again in Made in Heaven, and he loved me, and he called me. And so I think that those things kind of uh, those choices kind of looped up into something bigger.
Mm.
And so I think that's how it happened. And then Anurag sir kind of said had very nice things to say about me to Anubhav sir, and
Right.
Anubhav sir also saw the test. So I think it just snowballed. Uh,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I it's the OTT. I don't know, but I genuinely thank those directors, and I loved working with them. I would love to work with them again and again, even though it was a really, really small part in Zoya's Made in Heaven.
Mm.
I was really happy, and people actually saw it, and people actually liked me in it, and I really thought no one's going to notice me, right? Because it's a very small part,
Yeah.
but people did, and people wrote about it, and people wrote about my part, which was I was surprised that people actually wrote about my part, but it
Yeah.
was it was nice, and I loved it. So I think I don't know about your question was about the OTT. I don't know if I can answer that yet because I've not done something really big on the OTT yet. So
Yeah.
maybe once I do that, we can figure how. But
Mm.
I don't think it matters anymore, does it?
I mean, well, I think it does in a sense because it's opened the floodgates for fresh talent who would
Yeah, so that's what I'm
otherwise,
saying.
yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So does it matter? Is it if it's films? I think on OTT then you have to be really good,
yeah,
because OTT is something that see it's not like a movie theater, right? That you spend
no,
$300, so now you have to go through it. You have to watch it. It doesn't work like that. If they don't
exactly.
like it, they're not going to watch it.
Yeah,
So
true, true.
you have to be bloody good. The competition will get even like fiercer. Obviously, there's more opportunities, but the content has to be much better. And
Mm.
because we are now not just competing with your locally, you're competing with the world now,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
You've got every other language to watch, and every other it's on one platform, so you've got to be the best for people to watch you.
Definitely. It's almost become like a dream universe for entertainment enthusiasts, because they've literally
Yeah.
got everything at their fingertips. And I think
Yeah,
that's
so I
what,
think OTT's become a little more tougher for actors, I think, because you
yeah.
have to be really good,
And I
and
think,
for makers
yeah,
as well.
exactly, because the stakes have risen majorly. I think I was like literally watching Inside Edge the other day, and I was like, this was perhaps one of the first
Yeah, the first
mainstream
ones.
digital shows to actually have, made a mark and on the
Yeah,
international platform. So I think it's
yeah.
very interesting how the dynamics have really changed within what 3 years. So I think you're right. I think definitely, I think it is more tougher for actors as well to sort of live up to that caliber. But as I always believe, and I think it's important as well to acknowledge that there's never a fixed formula for success. But if you could pinpoint one thing as an actor that you need to survive, what would that one point be?
Uh, Probably self belief, and uh, it's okay to be jealous sometimes, but being envious doesn't really make sense,
Yeah.
because we tend to get jealous when you're down, when you don't have work, and when you're looking for work and you see other people succeed. You always it's very easy to fall in that trap of "Arey yaar, ye kyun acha kar raha hai? Why am I not doing this?"
Yeah.
It's a very human feeling to have,
Hmm.
but that kind of brings out a bad part of you. And I've seen actors go through it. I
Hmm.
might have gone through it at some point of time, but I kind of changed myself into you know that guy probably must be doing something right, or that girl must be doing something right, and they deserve it. Everybody deserves what they get, and by the end of it, I just need to work harder at myself to be where they are. So I
Hmm.
think that really matters, because actors have not it's a very ruthless business, and especially being an actor, it's very ruthless. So I think it really demands for you to, I mean, I'm not saying stay positive or something like that, but I'm just saying that it's easy to fall into the trap of cursing everybody around you, that
Yes.
it's not happening because of them,
Hmm.
but
Exactly.
you kind of have to make up your own journey
Sure. No.
and figure it
Exactly.
out.
And it's always it's interesting because we as humans have a tendency and to kind of blame others for our own weaknesses. We're such experts in doing that sometimes. And I think it's very important to realize that sometimes we just need to introspect ourselves because शायद गलती हमारे में होगी लेकिन हम दोष सारी दुनिया को दे रहे हैं और दूसरों को दे रहे हैं. And I think that's definitely one thing that I would definitely recommend to the viewers as well, especially given in lockdown, because I think thoughts and mental health right now is on, it can be very detrimental to a lot of people because obviously with the circumstances that's there. So in fact, at times when you are feeling down and very
Yeah.
sad and very demotivated and all of those things, what keeps your mind afloat? What keeps you positive and optimistic?
I just either I talk to someone really positive,
Hmm.
or I speak to someone who's doing worse than me, so that I feel better about myself. I think that's the only way. But can you hear me? I think I've
Yeah, yeah,
lost
yeah.
you.
I can,
Oh,
I
can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Uh, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I don't know. It's I like today. I kind of woke up in a. I couldn't sleep the whole night. I don't know why, because not getting out also kind of. I mean, uh, messes with your system a bit. I haven't been out in like 2.5 months, so it kind of getting on to you.
Hmm.
So the nights when I don't get sleep and stuff like that. So I think I woke up in a mood today where
Hmm.
I wasn't myself or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, you have to do what you have to do. Got up, okay, took a shower, did my house chores. I think these cats also kind of keep me afloat, and I think they are whenever I'm in a bad mood, they come and pamper me. So I think they kind of help. Having an animal in your life kind of really helps you. If people
Yeah.
don't like animals, I don't know. When people don't like animals, I can't trust them weirdly.
No, exactly. I think having pets does kind of it makes you feel loved, and it kind of gives you that sense of someone is there, that accompanying sort of factor in your life. You kind of have that someone.
I think having a pet should be taught. Like I think every school class should have a pet. The anything, if it teaches you anything, is empathy. It
Yes.
teaches you so much empathy, and that's what we need in the world today.
Mm.
uh, Only if there's more empathy, we would be a better race. And I think having pets will teach you a great lot of empathy for sure.
For sure, definitely. And on a final note, Bhavir, before I let you go, what are your plans post lockdown? I know asking about post lockdown seems like a dream right now, but what do you have? What's on your bucket list once all this ends?
Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of plans in on the first week when we got into lockdown. Then my plan was not to think about what my plan is going to be, because I genuinely don't know when the lockdown is going to get open, when is it going to get open, and then also when is my work going to start? Because it's not like we are going to start shooting immediately or something like that.
No. Mm.
you know so there is a lot of and also I wanted to see my parents. I don't think I can travel, and because they're older, so I don't want to travel through the airport and meet them
Mm.
back in Delhi. i think
Exactly.
uh, I think my plan would be just figure out when can I start work, and probably start my meetings or whatever in the most safest way that I can,
Yeah.
and at least plan and work on those scripts and start figuring what I want to do next. I
Absolutely.
think it's a very I don't think anyone can have a plan of the lockdown after the lockdown. I think it's the if we knew what a plan was, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly. Spot on. I think that's so true. Thank you so much, Pavel, for joining us today on.
Thank you, Anuj.
It was wonderful to catch up with you, and look forward to seeing more from you on the big screen once all this ends.
Thank you, and we shall do this again then soon.
Yes, definitely, for sure, man. And give a lot of love to your cat as well.
I will definitely.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thanks. See you. Bye.
Bye.